Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Racing Podblast with me, Tony Mack, and Ben Aiken from Narrow in the Field. So welcome along everybody, mixing codes on the pod this week with two races over the jumps at Chepstow for their jump season opener. And as well as coverage of the big handicap of the day, of course, on the flat, the 25 runner Cesarewitch, before taking our usual spin up to Scotland for our football trixie battle that we haven't started yet, really, haven't we? We're still in the stalls, really, Ben. Top, middle and bottom coming up.
I'm still in the paddock, mate. I'm not in the stalls, Jesus.
Well, where does that leave me then?
And you're getting reshod.
Reshod, yeah. Well, people would love to do that to me anyway. But racing first, we start off over the jumps with the Silver Trophy Handicap Hurdle from Chepstow, the first of our three races under analysis this week. Ben, you, welcome along, mate, from the paddock. And can you start us off with that one?
Yeah, morning, Tony. 320 Chepstow, competitive 18-runner field. Start things off. I've a short list for this handicap hurdle of Lowry's Bar, Doyen Quest, Take No Chances, Zipco, and Into the Park. Philip Hobbs, he trains to that shortlist at Lowry's Bar and Into the Park. Now, he's a trainer that likes to target this race. He's won it 4 times since 2005. His winners were all aged 5 or 6, had no more than 5 hurdle starts, and were making their seasonal debuts. He sent 10 horses to this race that met that profile. 4 of them won, 3 of them placed. Both Lowry's Bar and Into the Park fit that profile this year. At Lowry's Bar, he won his first 4 hurdle starts last season before finishing a close second on the last of his hurdle runs last season. And that came in a Class 2 Exeter in February. You've dropped £2 for that Exeter second, which I thought looked a bit generous. And his mark of 131 looks well within range for him. He's 2 from 2 over Chepstow hurdles, including one over the same trip as this race. So we know he handles the track well. I suspect Philip Hobbs, he's had this race in mind for Lowry's Bar for some time. So he's high in my thoughts here, Lowry's Bar. Doyen Quest, he represents Dan and Harry Skelton. They've won the race twice before. And this 6-year-old comes here off the back of a strong first season over hurdles. He posted 3 wins and 2 places from 6 starts. He rounded the season out by winning over 2 mile 4.5 at the Cheltenham April meeting. He's only shifted up £3 for that win to a mark of 122, and that looks more than workable for him. He's one that should have plenty more to offer this season. And the form of his races, they've been working out solid enough. So Doyen Quest, he's also high in my thoughts. And Zipco, he's another on my shortlist I want to look at. He moved from the Ben Pauling yard to the John Joe O'Neill yard since he was last seen. That was in March when he finished 3rd in the Imperial Cup at Sandown. He's a horse that I thought was oily campaigned by Pauling. His first 2 starts over here after moving from France came the Triumph Hurdle and then the Aintree equivalent at the national meeting. He was well beaten in both of those runs. He was then sent straight over fences to start last season and into handicap company. Failed to make much of an impact before having a 3-month break, and then he returned with a win back over hurdles before rounding the season out with that Imperial Cup 3rd. At the move, though, the O'Neill yard kind of muddies things a little, I think, but he's a horse that does interest me, Zipco. I think he'll prove better than his current mark of 124. The step up and trip has potential to unlock more from him. I suspect he was just one of those French imports that took a while to acclimatise to the racing over here. Whether this is the right race for him, not too sure, but Zipco, he interests me at the very least. But Lowry's Bar and Doyen Quest, they interest me more. And they're the 2 I want to play in this one. Lowry's Bar for Hobbs and Doyen Quest for Skelton. What you got for the Silver Trophy, Tony?
I'm with you on Lowry's Bar, mate. Novice hurdle winner in November last year before a couple of handicap hurdle victories at Wincanton and over course and distance in January. So I'm with you there. And William Hill paying 5 places, so approximately around 10 to 1 at the minute. I've got another Skelton horse on my radar. Take No Chances, around 16 to 1 with William Hill, 5 places. Winner on 3rd handicap hurdle start at Warwick in April before a win at Utoxeter. And then he was beaten favourite at Cartmel when last seen in May. Harry Atkins I'm hoping for a big day from Harry Atkins, as you'll also hear later on. £7 claimer for Dan Skelton. Don't be afraid to back Skelton's outsiders, others that Harry may be riding the fancied ones or whatever, but always have a look at the Dan Skelton outsiders. He does tend to drop one in every now and again. I thought Gypco was interesting there as well for you there, Ben, as well. And also, I have to go to the same stable, John Joe O'Neill, Krabilly for John Joe O'Neill Jr., novice back in February before finishing second of 21, Grade 3 plate handicap at the Cheltenham Festival in March, and not disgraced at Aintree in the old freebooter handicap chase over 3 miles, 1 furlong. He's around 13-2 at the minute. So I'll possibly leave Krabilly. We'll stick with 2 in the Silver Trophy handicap hurdle, Lowry's Bar with Ben, and take no chances at round 16-1 there. On to the 340. We're going over to Newmarket now. The Cesarewitch Class 2 handicap over 2 miles, 2 furlongs, Ben. How big is your shortlist?
Yeah, wow. 25 runner, flat handicap for us. It's type of races we love, though.
Yeah.
Before my shortlist, I think a bit of a draw bias at play in the Cesarewitch, despite the long distance of the race. Predictably, those drawn out wide take a bit of a hit. And none of the last 12 winners were housed in the top quarter of the draw. Only one of the last 25 winners broke from the top quarter of the draw. Indeed, if you factor in the winning place horses, so the first 4 home, of which there have been 100 in the past 25 renewals, only 12 of that 100 winning place runners broke from the top quarter of the draw. So the high-drawn horses have struggled to make a serious impact in the Cesarewitch. Now, it's a slightly lesser number going to post than usual with only 25 runners. Only 21 lined up for the 2022 renewal, and the high number struggled that year also. First 4 home that year were all drawn in stalls 9 or lower. At the top quarter of the draw this year would be stalls 20 and higher. Personally, I'd want plenty in my favour. The back end one from the high numbers. It's not impossible, but it's a difficult place for the winner to break from. It's something to keep in mind when looking at the race. Shortlist purposes this year, I've settled on just the 4. Nidawi, Samui, Run for Oscar, and Premier Ligne. Nidawi and Samui, they're both trained by Gordon Elliott, and he's a trainer with some solid stats in flat handicaps on this side of the Irish Sea in the August to October period, especially with his horses aged 5 or younger. With those types, he is 10 winners and 4 placed from 28 runners, 36% win strike rate, 50% win and place strike rate, over 33 points profit. And the last 2 qualifiers on that angle were Samui, who finished second in the Stairs handicap at the Ebor meeting, and Pied Piper, who finished a close second in this race last year. Nidawi and Samui both qualify on the angle this year, and both are worthy of consideration for the Cesarewitch. And that's Nidawi and Samui. Run for Oscar, he won the 2022 renewal of this off a £13 lower mark. He was a very easy winner that year, so I don't think the higher mark is a huge concern. He does have his prime conditions to shoot for here. Class 2 level and below, a break of 70 days or less, where he is 8 wins and 11 places from 21 starts. Only twice under these conditions has he failed to at least place. So I can see Run for Oscar going well again. And that Premier Ligne, he's the other on my shortlist. He's been posting some strong form this season, finishing in the first 3 in all 6 of his races. The last of those runs being a close second in the Cesarewitch trial last month over course and distance. He's actually finished second on all of his last 4 starts. We stick blinkers on here, and I assume they're trying just to eke out a bit of a fight in him. I hopefully see him maybe knuckle down a bit more and dig a bit deeper in the closing stages of his race. Because the Cesarewitch is an early closing race, he's actually able to run here off a mark £3 below his official rating. That's reduced further by his £5 claimer. So from a handicapping perspective, I think Premier Ligne does look potentially well in. And naturally, it's one of those races where you could take a good few swings at it, still be well wide of the mark. But I'm going to throw my darts at Nidawi and Premier Ligne, both currently trading at around 12-1, 14-1 mark. It looks decent value for both to me. So Nadawi and Premier Ligne for me in the Cesarewitch, Tony. What you got?
Good stuff, good stuff. I'm with you with the Gordon Elliott pair, mate. At the top of my shortlist, Samui around 21. Sky paying 8 places on the Cesarewitch. Samui winner at Killarney over 2 mile 1 furlong in July. Pretty solid and consistent in 3 starts since at York, Chester and Newmarket last month. We've got Nadawi as well, who's around 12-1 with Sky, who are paying 8 places. Another Gordon Elliott train, 2nd of 19 in the Galway Hurdle back in August, 3rd of 22 in the Fred Winter at the festival, Cheltenham Festival, with a run in the Ascot Stakes at the Royal Meeting in between those 2 runs of the Fred Winter and the Galway Hurdle, Nadawi and Samui. The other ones on my shortlist here, Ben, Evaluation, Spirit Mix and Trooper Bisdee. And out of those, Trooper Bisdee winning at Nottingham over 2 mile and Pontefract over 2 miles 2 furlong this term. Beaten favourite in the Northumberland Plate before a 4th of 11 in the Cesarewitch trial last month. I've also got Evaluation, who was 2nd in the Northumberland Plate at 40-1 in June for one of your favourite stables. Ben, Lucinda Russell, fantastic stuff. Hopefully Evaluation can go well from stall 7. But I'll be playing Spirit Mixer, brought along nicely by trainer Andrew Balding, winner of last 2 starts, both at Chester in August and September. Spirit Mixer around 14-1 with Sky Bet, who are paying 8 places, and I'll be playing certainly playing now Samui and Nadawi, who are both on my shortlist. But tell listeners that I will be telling listeners that to just check out, if you fancy Trooper Bisdee and Evaluation, I wouldn't put you off either of those. On to the 4:35 Chepstow, the Native River Handicap Chase, Class 2 Handicap over 2 miles 7.5 furlongs. Here we go, Ben. Just the 12 runners here going to post.
Yeah, 12 runners in the Native River. I narrowed this one down to a short list of 4. Mano the People, Toss Again, Twin Jets, and Are You Wise to That? The Man of the People, he comes here with a 2 from 2 Chepstow chase record to his name, and off the back of a career best effort. That came with winning over 3 mile 2 at the Cheltenham April meeting. He's best off breaks of more than 30 days. He's 5 wins in 3 seconds and a third from 10 starts of those sorts of breaks. Runs here off a break of 178 days. And he should be ready to fire for this decent pot. Man of the People. Toss Again, he represents Henry de Bromhead, and this is the sole Irish rider in the field. He's still relatively unexposed over fences after only 7 chase starts, only 4 of them coming in handicaps. And he has a solid form under similar conditions to this at Class 2 level and below, and over trips shorter than 3 miles. Toss Again is 4 wins and 2 places from 7 starts. Also worth noting that Henry D. Bromhead has some solid stats in UK chases and hurdles in the months of October and November, with his runners off breaks of 21 days or more that have no more than 17 clear starts and that start at an SP of 14-1 or less. With those types, he's 14 wins, 5 places from 42 runners, 33% win strike rate, 45% win and play strike rate, over 50 points profit. So plenty positives there for Toss Again, and he's high in my thoughts for this. Twin Jets is the least exposed chaser in the field after only 3 previous chase starts. He's not been seen since disappointing badly at Doncaster in a 3 mile handicap at the end of December last year. But his win at Doncaster the time before that certainly suggests he's a lot better than that last time out effort, and wouldn't be surprised to see Paul Nicholls get him to bounce back here, Twin Jets. And Are You Wise to That? He's the last one on my shortlist. He was very in and out last season, but he is 3 from 3 on his seasonal debut runs. First time out may just be the time to catch him. A little tricky to get a proper grasp on him. He's running from £5 out of the handicap, but equally he is still unexposed after only 5 chase starts. There should still be more to come from him yet as a chaser. Are You Wise to That? There's not actually any prices available at the time of recording for this race, which is disappointing.
Yes, preposterous.
But hopefully the forecast prices are not too wide of the mark. Forecast prices suggest it's going to be a 5-1 the field sort of race. The two that I like the look of the most from my shortlist are Man of the People and Toss Again. Both will have conditions in their favour. Both should go well. So Man of the People and Toss Again. For me, Tony, what you got for this handicap chase?
Yeah, I've got 4 on the shortlist and completely different as well, mate. I've got Arizona Cardinal, last seen winning the Topham Chase at the Grand National Festival off a £5 low mark. Nasalam, Welsh Grand National winner back in December. No idea why he ran in the Gold Cup, completely out of his depth, and he was also well held in the Grand National, but he's better than that, is Nasalam. He's only 7 as well. Just you forget he's just 7. Caelan Quinn still claiming £3 as well, which is very important tomorrow. Kitty's Light won 7 of his 27 starts over the larger obstacles. Must be said he's not from 13 now. Kitty's Light now he's into the 140s, but he has a place chances though, based on that. But he is not from 13 when now he's into the 140s. Unfortunately, Kitty's Light. He does like good to soft as well, so that's grounds come for him. And Sail Away. Nothing in his form to point you in the direction of this Martin gelding other than he's trained by Dan Skelton and ridden by £7 claimer Harry Atkins. Have a look at his form, but it'll be an each-way selection for me. Arizona Cardinal is on the short list. Kitty's Light on the short list. Nasalam on the short list. I'll be going Kitty's Light to finish in the first 3 or 4. Hopefully you get 4 places with some firms. And Sail Away, first run after a wind up for trainer Dan Skelton, and Harry Atkins there in the saddle claiming £7. So we've gone we're quite opposite the boards, agreeing on the first 2 races, and we've got 4 each in the one of the other 4 will win, won't it, Ben?
Probably. Yeah,
no, now a look. And talking about luck, here comes top, middle and bottom.
Oh golly, what a volley! The great thing about loving football is you cannot explain why you love it. It just happens. Chasing a ball round a park, wanting one team to win against the other.
El Mahoney, right foot, whips it. Oh, jeezy peeps, man.
Still funny. Hey Ben, did you notice on the script that we share? I put in a game from a game for a week on Saturday.
Did you?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Didn't notice.
We quickly changed it though. Yeah, it's time for round 11 of top, middle and bottom. How did we get on last week, Ben? No prizes.
Just the 1 win for each of us. Another -4 hit for us. Current totals, me -20.38, Tony -22.77. Not all bad last week though, because one of our sponsor players at Clyde, Martin Rennie,
he did
banged in their equaliser against the Spartans. Although that was backed up by Clyde manager Ian McCall leaving his job yesterday. So it's now a managerless Clyde. GG peeps, not our fault. Might be our fault. Martin Rennie scored. That's all we care about. This week, bit of a mish-mash Scottish programme. Free pick weekend for us. Any 3 games from the Scottish Challenge Cup, everyone's favourite cup competition, and a handful of league games are taking place. My top, middle and bottom. Top, Morton to beat Hamilton 2-1. Morton have made a couple of strong loan signings in the past couple of weeks. They're in better form than the bare results suggest at the minute, so I'm surprised they're as big a price for this match as they are, and I'll take them to get the win here against Hamilton. So Morton, for me, in the top, that's a Friday night game. At middle, Queen's Park to beat Annan at 17-20. Queen's Park have been in excellent form recently. Unbeaten in 5 matches, winning 4 of them. They only have too much for part-time Annan here. You're the second lowest scorers in the first division, also one of the leakiest defences. So Queen's Park for the win here. It's a Friday night game as well. And bottom, Partick Thistle and Falkirk to draw 23-10. This is the only championship game of the weekend, Saturday. Partick have had a bit of a start to the season, but they've begun to steady things recently. They've become particularly stingy at home. 2 wins and 2 draws, no goals conceded. Hopefully they can frustrate league leaders Falkirk here and hold them to a draw. So my top, middle and bottom is top Morton to beat Hamilton, middle Queen's Park to beat Annan, and bottom Partick Thistle and Falkirk to draw. Tony, what you got?
Got a good feeling on that. Good feeling on your treble this week. I've got Falkirk away at Partick. That's even money in the championship. And then I've gone to the Cup, Kelty Hearts away at Dunfermline, 100-30. That's in the Cup. 130 away at Dunfermline, Kelty Hearts. And Spartans away at Edinburgh at 11-20. Bit of a cheap get out there at League Two. But if Kelty Hearts do the business and Falkirk away at Partick, evens money 130, 11-20 will just be a nice little addition to the treble there. Probably that'll be the one that lets me down. Probably.
Probably.
So are we still off to the? Are we still off to the Clyde end of season party?
Clyde in the season relegation party. Aye, probably.
Oh Christ, no.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy a night out in Hamilton.
Yeah.
I've never been a night out in Hamilton myself, but I imagine it'll be an experience. Might not come back alive.
Many thanks for listening to the latest edition of the Racing Podblast. Very best of luck with your bets at Newmarket and Chepstow this weekend. I'm on 3bsradio.com breakfast show weekdays from 6 o'clock in the morning, and you can catch more from Ben over and narrowinthefield.co.uk. Big thanks for listening this week. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you next week. Forgot to say cheers, Ben. Cheers, Ben.
Cheers, Tony.